2 years ago, and we have with us Ms. Jamie Tan, my close colleague, based in Kuala Lumpur. Just by way of background, the Southeast Asia Science Advisory Network comprised of senior colleagues from the ASEAN region, and what we were doing previously and now is trying to link the scientific community with the policymakers. I think, as you may recall, and is being observed currently in the ongoing COP27 of the climate change conference, the science policy network is so important for the scientists to get across their message to the policymakers so that eventually whatever programs or strategies that we plan can be taken up. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we are very fortunate to have the presence of Professor Dr. Teguh Raharjdo, who also is a council member of the CSUN, and he's also the Vice Executive Director at the Indonesian Science Fund. Pak, I think this is Dana Ilmu Pengetahuan Indonesia, DIPI, seasoned expert at the Science Policy Nexus. Thank you, Pak Teguh, and I also want to thank Madam Dr. Inaya Rakhmani from Universitas Indonesia, who has agreed to moderate this event. One final note, this eminent eminent speakers series of lecture have been inaugurated a while back with the address from Dr. Montira Pongsiri, national of Thailand, and also the US. Montira is based in the US, and she had provided the inaugural lecture, which was well received by colleagues in the region. I would also like to thank some partners here, namely Professor Abi Verakumara Sivan, Provost of Sunway University, who's also Chairman of the INGSA Asia Regional Chapter. I would also like to thank the Indonesian Science Fund, the Indonesian Academy of Sciences, and the Indonesian Young Academy of Sciences, ALMI. It appears that science is blooming very well in Indonesia. So, Pak Teguh, congratulations and thank you again. Before I give the floor to moderator Dr. Inaya, Dr. Jamie, you have any announcement for the audience? Jamie, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Professor Zakri. Thank you for the wonderful welcoming remarks. So before we begin, I will first introduce our speaker for today, Pak Teguh Raharjdo, and also our moderator, Dr. Inaya Rakhmani. So Dr. Teguh Raharjdo is a council member of the CSUN, as everyone may know, and the Vice Executive Director of the Indonesian Science Fund. He was the former Deputy Minister for Science and Technology Relevancy and Productivity at the Ministry of Research and Technology, and he also later served as Senior Advisor to the Minister of Research and Technology for Defense and Security Technology Affairs. He was also a former member of the National Research Council and former head of Technology Working Group of the Committee for Defense Industrial Policy, as well as the Technical Committee of the Space and Aviation Board. Pak Teguh has extensive experience with international science and technology events and activities, including the ASEAN Committee on Science and Technology, which is the COST, as well as Indonesia and United States of America Science and Technology Cooperation. Welcome, Pak, and we are really honored to have you here with us today. And Dr. Inaya Rakhmani, our moderator for today, is the director of the Asia Research Center, and she is also an assistant professor at the Department of Communication, Faculty of Social and Political Sciences at the University of Indonesia. She is also an honorary member of the Indonesian Young Academy of Sciences, ALMI, and an active member of the International Network for Governmental Science Advice, INGSA. Welcome, Dr. Inaya, and thank you very much for being our moderator for today. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in inviting Pak Teguh Raharjdo to deliver his lecture. Dipersilakan, Pak.
Thank you very much, Jamie, and thank you also to Professor Zakri who delivered your very excellent welcoming remark. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Greeting from Indonesia, Science Fund and Southeast Asia Science Advice Network. I see in the participant also there are some of the participants from Japan. So Ohayo gozaimasu. Thank you for joining this event and yoroshiku onegaishimasu. It is my honor to get chance to share and discuss the issue of transformation economy to knowledge or innovation based. I do hope from the discussion we can get insight looking the economic situation of our country and get inspiration to make a policy recommendation to accelerate the better and qualified economy development. The keyword of this presentation is resource-based economy, knowledge-based economy, technological-based industry, transformation industry policy, human resource development, and but not least, the innovation. I will start with the G20 forum, which is just ongoing even in Bali. We know that the world economy is on a slippery slope amid high inflation, aggressive monetary tightening, and uncertainties from both the war in Ukraine and the lingering pandemic. Growth in the world's three largest economy, United States, China, and the European Union is weakening, with significant spillover to other countries. At the same time, rising government borrowing costs and large capital outflow are exacerbating fiscal and balance of payment pressure in many developing countries.
I'm sorry, Pak. Sorry to interrupt, but I think you have not shared your slides.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Share the slide. Thank you very much.
Well, share. Okay, I hope you all can see the slide.
Yes, we can see it now. Thank you, Pak.
Yeah, I just start from G20 forum. And the projected global economic growth for 2022 is in between 2.5 to 2.8%, while forecast for next year is highly uncertain. Most forward-looking indicators suggest a further slowdown in global growth. So, considering the above situation, the G20 forum meeting was opened yesterday in Bali, which will dealing with important issue in the world economy is very important. There are 18 from 20 head of government of world largest advanced and emerging economic countries attend and will deliver their speech. I think on the Russian and Mexico, they was represented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The forum of G7 representing about 2/3 of the world population, 85% of global gross domestic product, and over 75% of global trade. Despite the forum member consists of the country with the largest economic or GDP, there are varies in income per capita and the quality of their economic development. Some of the members are still struggle with the middle income threat, such as Argentina, Brazil, Indonesia, Mexico, etc. And in the case of country has high GDP, small GDP per capita, that must be a significant problem regarding the economic equality, growth distribution, and also the quality of the economic of the country. Furthermore, besides the world economy issue being discussed, there are also another important issue will be discussed during G20 meeting. One of that is a Sign 20 meeting with recommended 14 recommendations. The main recommendations are mostly focused on how to tackle and improve the global healthcare, the climate change, technology enhancement and multidisciplinary collaborative work, open data for knowledge, collaboration and transfer, mutual partnership, commitment to support the S&T cooperation, integrated the social science and humanity into all public policy decision, and bolster the adoption of evidence-based policy. So there are many. They are talking about the S&T cooperation and multidiscipline collaborative work in this recommendation.
Pak Teguh, sorry to interrupt. There is a comment from our participants that the slides are not moving. We are now viewing the G20 slide.
Okay.
Yeah, now we are in the middle income slide. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, the next slide is the middle income threat. The middle income threat is the economic situation whereby middle income country is failing to transformation the economy due to the rising cost and the competitiveness. And the growth of the national product per capita is range between 1,000 to 10,000 at the constant cost. And from 60 to 2010, only 15 out of the 101 middle income country that escaped the middle income trap, including Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, South Korea, and Japan. Learn from Japan, South Korea, and Singapore. The best way to escape from the middle income trap is invest in human resources development and transform to knowledge or innovation-based economy. This means the country need to invest in education and research infrastructure, high quality education system, breakthrough in science and technology, create the innovation ecosystem, and transform to the technology-oriented policy. And the next slide is about the knowledge-based economy. The knowledge-based economy is an expression coined to describe trend in advanced economy. And with greater dependence on knowledge, information, and high skill level, and the increased need for ready access to all of this by the business and public sector. The success factor of transform to knowledge-based economy is depend on knowledge capital of the country, such as the establishment of center of excellence, research ecosystem, and the culture of excellence in research, the technology absorption capacity, especially related with the technology-based industry, innovation ecosystem, in which the policy synergy between industry policy, science and technology policy, financial policy, trade policy, in the etc. in developing technology-based industry to increase the value added. And last but not least, the humanity social policy. This is related with the social acceptance culture of social community. Then I will continue with the to share with you the Indonesia economic development. As you may know that the population of Indonesia in 2020 is about 273.55 million people, and the GDP last year is about 1,186 trillion US dollars, while the GDP per capita still in 4,209 US dollars last year, based on the World Bank data. About the Indonesian economy development, around the mid-60s, Indonesian economy situation has affected badly from the chaotic politics at the time under the president of Sukarno. However, after the President Suharto took over in mid-60s, economy policy underwent a radical change. The government pushed the public sector to play a greater role in the economy by undertaking substantial public investment in regional development, social development, infrastructure, and through the establishment of large-scale basic industry. There are two types of economic approach known in the 80s to 90s. The first is Wijoyonomics, which based on conventional capitalist approach. And the second is Habibinomics, in which the variable of technology drive the economy growth and is the endogenous variable in total factor productivity. At that time, the export-oriented foreign investment were welcome, and manufacture export began to become the engine of Indonesian economy. As a result, during 70 to mid-90, Indonesia GDP grew by an average of 7% per year. In the Reformation era, 1997 to 2000, until 2009, the economic suffered from ASEAN financial crisis. However, since 1999, the economy has recovered and growth has accelerated to over 4 to 6%. In last year, Indonesia replaced India as the second fastest growing G20 economy behind China. Since then, the annual growth rate has fluctuated around 5%. Indonesia faced a recession in 2020 when the economic growth collapsed to minus 2.07% due to the COVID-19 pandemic. There was the worst growth since 1997 crisis, and Indonesia went from upper middle income to lower middle income status as of July 2021. When the country endowment fund, endowment of natural resources, with the country that, with the country endowment of natural resources and large population with its bonus demography, large domestic market, increasing middle class, emerging manufacturing industry, Indonesian economy has strong potential for further growth in the next future. And it is predicted that in 2045, the population will be 309 million. And if the government can maintain the economic growth in between 5 to 6%, and the GDP increase to 9.1 trillion US dollars, the income is expected to reach over 20,000 US dollars. This means that Indonesia will become expand economy country. But there are still a lot of work that need to be done. And it's, of course, need the strong leadership and long-term commitments. I will start the policy strategy 1, which is related with the direction of the economic development. Most of the underdeveloping countries, which are less of knowledge capital and technology capability, weak of human resources, short of the financial capability, weak of the infrastructure, etc., will start commonly their economic development with resource-based strategy and comparative strategy approach. Especially the youth natural resources country like Indonesia, the exploration of natural resources such as oil and gas, coal, gold, tin, nickel, etc., have contributed mainly in economic growth. Some of development strategy policy at that time are comparative advantage, labor intensive policy, import substitute policy, re-engineering manufacture, etc. Indonesia have to anticipate the environment problem due to the exploitation of natural resources and also the dependence of foreign technology. Because mostly we export the low technology product, but we import the high technology product. So the dependence of the technology from abroad is very high. The big challenge to accelerate or sustain the economic development is the transition to knowledge or innovation-based economy to gain high competitive advantage. It will take time, better preparation, commitment, and leadership. It needs youth investment on education and technology development infrastructure, R&D investment from private sector and government, technological industry development, human resources, yeah, to invite wills the best people in the world to work and to come and work in our country, and to give a chance for the talented young people to work and experience working with those best people in the field. Also, the support system must be conducive for especially related with policy, financial system, etc. Long-term commitment. And we have to focus on the economic development. It is wise to consider of using natural resources properly with advanced technology, remain the best natural resources for our next generations. And the next policy strategy that I would like to discuss with you is about the economic growth plan. Mostly in the developing country, such as Indonesia, the GDP growth by expenditure like consumption, investment, export, government expenditure. The Indonesian economy depends on domestic market and government budget spending. Household consumption account for about 53 to 58% of total domestic demand last year. This influences to GDP growth is determined by several factors, such as the size of the population growth, and the age structure, lifestyle, and the pace of economic growth. However, we need to anticipate the import product and the technology clearinghouse. Otherwise, the Indonesia become the market for foreign technology. The investment influence the rate of economic growth because it is a component of aggregate demand, and more importantly, influence the productive capacity of the economy. An increase in investment should be boost to economic growth. Based on data from Minister of Industry, Republic of Indonesia, the investment gave about 36% to growth contribution of Indonesian GDP in 2016. And the third variable of growth is export that lead to increased investment, to increase the technological advance and import expansion. Export facilitate international trade and stimulate domestic activity by creating employment, production, and revenue. Export can increase intra-industry trade. Intra-industry trade help the country to integrate in the world economy and reduce the impact of external shock on the domestic economy. When there are more export, it means that there is a high level of output from a country's industrial facility, as well as a greater number of people that are being employed in order to keep the industry in operation. Based on data from Minister of Industry, Republic Indonesia, unfortunately, the net export in 2016 is very small. That's what I mentioned before, that we export the less value-added product, and we import high value-added product. So sometimes the balance of export and import is negative or even. And the last factor that influence the GDP growth is government expenditure. In underdeveloped country, public expenditure has an active role to play in reducing regional disparity, developing social overhead, creation of infrastructure of economic growth in the form of transport and communication facility, education and training, growth of capital good industry, basic and key industry, R&D, etc. And based on the data from Minister of Industry, the net government expenditure in 2016 gave about 10% to the GDP growth. So it can be seen that the Indonesian economy development mainly based on the consumption and investment. While if we take a look in many advanced countries, the driver of economic growth there is export. They produce product, they produce their high value added product not only for the domestic market, but they send them to the international market either. However, each country they have different approach. It depends on the resources, long-term commitment, support system, leadership in that country. And the next policy strategy I would like to share is about the industrial development. There are many choices to select what kind of type of industry, such as manufacturing industry or value-added chain industry, such as industry that penetrate the domestic market, global market, etc. But the importance of industry development in economy are to increase the GDP, to increase the productivity, to absorb the employment, and to sustain the economic growth. So when we establish the industry, we have also to consider to establish the pyramid or the industry trees. For example, in Indonesia, the industry provide 70 million jobs for the people. And just one of the example, the car industry trees consists of the 20 companies, car assemblers that provide about 45,000 people, 550 companies, the component industry tier 1, and 1,000 companies of component industry tier 2 and 3, and also 14,000 authorized outlets and 42,000 non-authorized outlets. So there are many companies that involved or within in the industry tree of the car industry. Then if we total manpower in the car industry is about 1.3 million people. This is a case in Indonesia based on the Minister of Industry data. Currently, the Indonesia are working hard to improve the technological industry, such as reform material flow, redesign the industrial zone, embrace the sustainability, empower SMEs, build national digital infrastructure, attract foreign investment, upgrade human capital, establish innovation ecosystem, incentive technology investment, and re-optimize regulation and policy. The transformation to advance technology-based industry will increase the economic competency and entering the knowledge or innovation-based economy smoothly. The next policy strategy that I would like to share here is the technology development plan. Mostly there are two paths of technology development source for industry. One is from domestically, or we can call also indigenous R&D by national university, public research institute, and also technology firm. They are, of course, they have a focus of the research, what they are doing. And despite need the youth investment, takes a long time, and the probability of the success is not high. While in the other path is inquiring technology from abroad through the technology acquisition, such as joint venture, through the formal technology transfer, such as licensing, purchasing, original equipment manufacturing, or through the informal technology transfer, such as subcontract, purchasing capital goods, imitation, etc. In 70 until 90s, Indonesia applied the strategy by the first step is introduction technology through licensing from foreign technology. The second step is integration technology, which means we have more freedom and alternative technology to be used. The third stage is develop the original design, which means the industry has been capable to provide supporting technology needs. And the final stage is conduct the basic research to obtain indigenous technology. Due to limited resources and youth investment, especially in the education and research infrastructure, long-time national effort, therefore the strategy should be clear and documented in long-term national development plan. Otherwise, when the cabinet is changing, then it's very difficult to keep continuing the strategy of economic development. And most of the developing countries like the technology acquisition or the technology transfer to accelerate the technology capability on the country, and it can be begun with technology import, then continue with the assimilation of technology, and finally creation of technology. It is almost the same with the Indonesian route to develop the technology within the industry. And the economy development will in line with those, begin with industrialization with technology import, industrial development through assimilation of imported technology, and industrial upgrading through expanding independent technology capability. And if we take a look in the advanced economic country, most of the technology transfer are from industry to industry. However, for the advanced country which have the long history of education, so the technology transfer also strongly flow from the university to the industry. And the policy strategy 5 is channeling the technology flow. This is also the important thing that we need to consider. The flow of technology from idea to commercialization will go this route from from R&D activity, engineering, and certification, market visibility, financial framework, commercial valuable, IPO, commercializations. There are many R&D research could not go through and fell to the depth of failure. Only small number are success to product commercialization. To avoid from that failure, the government should create appropriate ecosystem in research, innovation, investment, human resource development, and infrastructure, including the intermediate organization, such as the Technology Transfer Center, Business Innovation Center, Technology Incubator, Venture Capital, etc. And if we look here, there are the period of the cost center that need government support and facilitation, and there are a part of in which the potential product have economic visibility, and in this time we call it, this is the already entering the profit center, in which the private bank, venture capital have a significant role to support this kind of product. Indonesia developed Center of Science and Technology Development in South Jakarta. Its name is Puspetek Serpong, and also Cibinong Science Center in West Java. There are many national labs and testing labs for industrial product development there. In the period of 70s to 90s, Puspetek plays a significant role in supporting strategic industry. Lesson learned from this facility, we realized that to be success, this facility should be supported by interministerial and should be managed by professional who knows very well about business, research, innovation, and has a strong network. The model of science and technology path can create the ecosystem in which entrepreneurs such as CEO, CTO, researchers, banker, law consultant can meet with others and discussion everything related with product development or commercialization, startup company, investment, partnering, etc. The meeting and discussion will create channel for knowledge, technology flow from the technology production to industry. Furthermore, the design of science and technology part can also reduce the logistic cost and increase the competitive product. I saw this kind of design in China. It's very efficient, and of course between the supporting industry and the main industry, there are located in near location. So the transport cost in Indonesia mostly about at least 18% is can be reduced. Yes, yeah, very small. And the next strategy policy is regarding the industrial transformation. This is, I think, very important. Yeah, the key of how to transform the economy from resource-based to the knowledge-based. The process of develop industry using technology import is the scenario plan of the country to develop technological capability. The selected industries such as primary good industry, light industry good, extra, can penetrate domestic market and also export. The industry-oriented policy will lead other related policies such as science and technology policy. In this stage, the direction of science and technology policy focus on building R&D infrastructure such as university, public research institute, funding agency, national lab, industries, R&D, S&T park, etc. And it should be, yeah, as an agent of technology transfer that we expected the university, public research institute, and industry R&D take this role. The next step is promoting R&D, such as an enhanced national R&D, promoted research university focusing on assimilation technology capability, and develop technology-based industry. The next step is enhanced technology innovation, in which the industrial upgrading can be done through independent technology capability. In this state, the characteristics of industry are high value added, high competitiveness, and also in line with the international standard. Once the process of transformation was success, then the economy will grow much faster through the innovation. However, this process will take a long time. It needs the continuous support, stable political conditions, integration of intersectoral policy, and continuous growth of innovation ecosystem. The last policy strategy that I would like to discuss with you is, this is very important. This is the national leadership. When we mention innovation, it composes intersectoral policy that have to be integrated, such as science and technology policy, financial policy, industrial policy, higher education policy, trade policy, and other related policy. To integrate this interministerial policy needs strong national leaders as the conductor of the innovation orchestra. The conductor here should be harmonize the innovation policy. In many advanced countries, the leader is supported also by the National Science and Technology Council as the S&T advisory. Previously, Indonesia has this kind of council. It's namely KIN, Committee Inovasi Nasional. But unfortunately, because of the government cabinet change and so on, the policy is change also. There are many countries in which the innovation orchestra play without conductor. Every musician play their instrument depend on their mood and feeling. In this case, there are a weak linkage or interaction between academia, business, and government. Then the economic cannot grow as what they plan. And mostly this country left behind or cannot escape, or very difficult escape from the middle income country trap. And finally, I would like to summarize my presentation by emphasize to we know that the technology change very fast, and it changes of our life either. The global trade competitive lies on the technology. Therefore, without innovation technology, the economy cannot fly high, and natural resource-based industry cannot transform to the technological-based industry. Innovation is the heart of the economic development. It is the result of advancement of science and technology, and come from the entrepreneur who make them happen and ultimately depend on the society receptiveness. To transform to innovation-based economy, it needs the strength and productive knowledge cluster, capacity of the technology absorption by creating technology-based industry, channeling technology flow, science, technology, and innovation policy, especially to create the research and innovation ecosystem, scientific temper and the culture of excellence in research, startup technology-based company, etc. And the last but not least, the transformation will take long road and need integration of all resources, including policy. Without strong and visionary leader, it will be difficult to achieve. That's all of my presentation, and I realize that the time for discussion is very limited, but I will more than happy if also we can continue our discussion through email. My email is teguh.raharjdo@dp.id. Thank you very much, and I am glad if we can discuss later. Thanks.
Terima kasih Pak for the very enlightening presentation. So now we will move on to 30 minutes of discussion and Q&A. Now, please join me in welcoming Dr. Inaya Rakhmani to be our moderator for today. Welcome, Dr. Inaya.
Thank you, Jamie. Salam Pak Teguh. It was really nice listening into your presentation. And it's enlightening to see the interaction between economic growth and the importance of national planning in managing and organizing quality research that is also linked with human rights, human resources. And some of the questions regarding that has been addressed in the chat box. Really good questions. So I would like to invite Dr. Rino Sa'danur to ask his question directly that he's already written in the chat box. Dan kalau ada yang ingin bertanya dalam bahasa Indonesia atau Melayu, I can help translate into English. So please feel free to use whatever means that is comfortable with you. You can use the chat box or you can ask directly. by turning on your video. And Dr. Rino, are you there and ready to ask your questions directly?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the presentation. I think it's very interesting to know. My question would be to link that to what happened to Indonesia currently, that as far as I understood, that actually technological based investment, or let's say to boost up technology for certain sectors in Indonesia, this, first of all, you need a highly qualified human resources, highly educated, highly skilled human resources. So there are certain, let's say, criteria to be fulfilled, and this is maybe the bottleneck in Indonesia. That's one thing. Second thing is that we see that the unemployment in Indonesia is very high, and technology-based investment is not a labor-based investment. So how are you going to help the unemployment in Indonesia by, let's say, inviting a high technology intensive investment to Indonesia? So how do you help actually the unemployment in Indonesia? I think this would be the two things that I would like to question first, and then I would like to discuss about this. Maybe some knowledge will be gained out of this discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rino. The importance of how to increase the capacity of human resources and the model, and the three models that you have already proposed. Pak Teguh, time and place.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Inaya. Thank you, Dr. Rino. Your question is very important and not easy to answer. But yes, of course, first, once again, that we have to boost the human resources development. You know, when starting from Pak Habibie and now with LPDP, we send many people to study for graduates level, either in national or in the best university in the world. So if they can come back to Indonesia and work in line with what their competency, then we have source of the high level of human resources. And also is need the political will. We have example for the high intensive industry such as the aircraft industry, CPR, and etc. But unfortunately, in the financial crisis 1999, 1997, they have a difficulty in financial. So at that time, the government should take appropriate action to help them and then to make restructuring to be a good industry. So this is not easy, and also one of the weak of our capability in this case is related with the coordination of the policies within in the Minister of Finance, Minister of Industry, Minister of Science and Technology, and so on. So sometimes we have the resources, but we cannot optimize the competency or the capability of that. So yes, not easy. And regarding the unemployment in Indonesia, from President Suharto until now, I think the labor-intensive policy is still there. there are no changes. So of course, we need to create the job to all of the people, but we don't need to maintain. They are only working in very very low level of the job. So we have once again to improve the capability, to improve the competency of our workforce. Then they can go more high level position in the company or industry. So improvement of the human resource is very important. That's why I think we cannot stand forever in the labor intensive policy. We have to move one by one if we want to get more better industry and also economy. Probably that I can share with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Teguh. The interaction between ministries, finance industry, education technology, and maintaining the policy to support research infrastructure that also increases the capacity for human resources, especially high skill, is very clearly positioned. Whether or not it would be practiced is another matter, but the idea in itself is very interesting and sound and valid, and hopefully it would be realized. I would like to invite Pak Karunia, whose question is about knowledge and innovation-based economy, which links very well to your response to the previous question. Pak Karunia, are you willing to be invited to the stage to ask your question directly?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Inaya. So, morning to you all. So I'm very happy to hear, to listen what has been said. I think what has been said by Pak Teguh is really awesome. It's amazing. But however, I just would like to have 2 points actually, Pak Teguh. How can you be so sure that our government have have a thought in building or in developing knowledge-based, innovation-based economy? Because from the fact, I do feel, there is no Ministry of Research and Technology. And then how can this kind of ideas that has been done by Japan and South Korea in relation to knowledge-based economy that makes them becomes a high economic growth, before the COVID-19. So do you know what's the political will or the political action regarding about these things? Because this kind of sexy words, I have to say, is very much been talked by many people, many experts since Habibie or before that. I think the importance of knowledge-based economy. So I don't think we have really have a political will in doing this kind of thing. Maybe you have any opinion or any comments on that points, because I don't know. I really don't know. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak Karunia. And you also made the point that Indonesia is still largely dependent on natural-based resources.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pak Teguh, time and place is yours. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Pak Karunia is my colleague. He was a deputy minister also in Minister of Research and Technology at that time. Actually, he knows the answer. But anyway, I would like to share also my feeling. My feeling is also, the same with Pak Karunia. I think we are now in the, let's say, like disruption management. So disruption era. So we hope that disruption era usually will result to a better condition. But of course we hope like that. But it takes a time. Korea and Japan is very good example. Manage the disruption management. So one of our weakness is, I think, we have, for example, like kin, but I think the existing kin also is unclear right now. We also have a National Research Council and also already terminated and so on. So I think, yeah, we still waiting what is the really direction of the science and technology policy that can be understood for all of the researchers and also the bureaucrat that make them work easily. So we are in the same time, in the same feeling to wait this kind of direction. So we hope that we got the strong leadership who visionaries and knows about the are familiar with the technology development, the importance of science and technology, and also yeah, how to improve the human resources capability and so on. So this kind of leadership probably can help us to direct all of the resources in Indonesia. We have already all of needed resources to go to innovation, but unfortunately, the coordination, the synergy between one and the other policy is not well yet. So if the leadership, of course, he or she cannot understand all, but if he or she let's say assist by the think tank like National Science and Technology Council, or the existing one is IP and ALMI and other and National Research Council and so on. Probably, yeah, the decision will be on the track for the knowledge-based economy. That's probably that I can say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Teguh. And the nature of there is interaction between specializations in which Indonesia's dependence on natural-based resources is questioned, because we have people advocating for biodiversity. The book was out in 2016, during which you were also involved. So relatively in such milieux, knowledge and innovation-based economies seem achievable, but in terms of the large structures, ministries, and directions or lack of political will and leadership in research and technology, that is another. Pak Karunia, thank you so much for your question. The next question is from Pak Adik Sudarsono from the National Agency for Innovation and Research, BRIN. Pak Adik, are you willing to be invited to the stage to ask your question directly?
Okay, thank you, Ms. Anaya. Teguh is an interesting presentation. It reminds us about the right technology, how to improve or increase our industrial capabilities. Yeah. I would like to share my opinion in the point of industrial market. Yeah. So you mentioned about the new technology or high-tech technology, but what I feel or I analyze from the situation now, even though who's already capable doing in Indonesia, but they are not facilitated or improved or boosted by the Indonesian government. to produce or to build that industrial capabilities. Yeah. So kind of you already mentioned about the strategy how to improve the technology to pass the middle income trap, but in reality, the industrial side or the business side themselves is not any incentive, or they are not have kind of protection to be bigger and bigger, because that's what I feel. So how do you think that about one side of your already introduced the strategy, but on the reality, even those who not yet really that high technology, they don't also really improve the industrial in Indonesia. Thank you, Pak Teguh.
Pak Teguh, silakan.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Inaya. Yes, Pak Adik is the former of the director of the one of the strategic industry, namely Pindad. He knows better about the strategy, the industry situation. Yes, it's very difficult. That's why between the theory and the realistic, sometimes is a wide gap, and it needs, of course, the solutions. I may say that, especially like strategic industry, like a Pindad, that mainly, produce the for the purpose of the military products. I think I have been discussed with Pak Adik previously, and in many countries, the military industry, they have very small market. Of course, its niche is the government's purchasing orders. There are less than 20% of the income of the industry, military industry, came from the military product. If they want to stand, if they want to stay in good industry profit, then they have to diversify the not only the military product but also the commercial product. So that's that I learned from some of industry in China, in Korea, and so on. While in Indonesia itself, sometimes we are difficult with the system in which the government purchasing also, they have to follow the regulation and so on. So even though the president at that time already ordered that we have to buy what if the industry already can produce that product, but in the field, that's not easy, because this is depend on the once again the leadership, whether they know that his direction is execute well, or there are another problem that make this direction is not execute well. So I know in the military industry, they already ordered from president to give the priority preference to buy the national industry product. But when the cabinet is changed, then also there are a different policy, different approach applied in the field. So this is very difficult. That's why we have to really have a a champion conductor of the innovation that can not only give direction but also monitor whether the direction can execute well or not. That's what can I share with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Teguh. There are actually two more questions. One is from Dr. Rino, a follow-up question about the small and medium enterprise sector. How technology can improve situations for unemployment, and perhaps while you respond to Pak Dery, you can also address the question or feedback from Dr. Rino. Pak Teguh, Pak Dery, would you be willing to join us on the stage?
Thank you, Bu Inaya.
Thank you, Pak Dery.
Thank you, Pak Teguh, for the comprehensive lectures. And follow on Pak Karunia, we know that we have received many assistance to address knowledge-based economy issue. And the big question now is how we can internalize the knowledge we gain from them by our policymakers and the other SDI actors, because we have seen so many inputs from elsewhere, but it seems we're going nowhere. So perhaps there's something about it. My question is, would it help to promote intermediary actors to facilitate communication among them, among the actors, so that they can work together? The interaction between policymakers, businessmen, engineers, scientists, social scientists, and how to bring them together and create good partnership. Would it be help to promote? Because as far as I know, intermediary is not very common here in Indonesia, because they operate at the interface among actors. Thank you, Pak Teguh.
Yes. May I, Dr. Inaya?
Yes, of course. Silakan, Pak Teguh.
Sorry. Yes, Pak Dery. I cannot answer clearly, but I just want to share with you, and I think you already know also, that one of our weakness is the let's say science and technology communication. So sometimes the result of the R&D cannot go smoothly to the decision maker or policy maker. That's one. The second thing is there are still weak also evidence-based policy. So because there are actually many good, excellent research center that can help the government to formalize the policy, but unfortunately this is not strongly happens. And the other thing that I learned from Pak Habibie is we are also weak in the politic technology. So that's why, as you know, after the Reformation era, the politics is very dominant. So we thought go there. And you also know that currently what happened in Ministry of Research of Technology and others is mainly strongly influenced by politics. So that's why Pak Habibie have said that when he was a Minister of Research and Technology, we have to learn and be more influenced the political technology. So how to bring the technology to become main focus of the politics activities or politics program and so on. So this I think we need to improve. Otherwise, it's difficult for us to to influence the decision maker to really focus on the agenda of the innovation. That I can say. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Teguh. There is still the question or feedback from Dr. Rino regarding small medium enterprise. Perhaps this links with the national priority for research.
Well, probably this is the question. Since large portion of employment in Indonesia created by SME sector, it would propose to identify technology that can improve the production process and other activities along the value chain. Okay. If this is the question, then yeah, probably I would like also to, yeah, actually in the era of Pak Harto, there also policy that is named Bapak Angkat. I don't know how to say in English. Bapak Angkat, that the big industry should support or should working together with SMEs. But unfortunately, that's the quality of their interaction, the quality of their cooperation is not so good at the time. So there are many still SME that send the product to the big industry, but it didn't used by those big industries. I think that what we need, and also I remember that there's a special scheme to improve the SME technology content. It's named DIPI scheme. It was under the Ministry of Industry in 90s, but also it's not well result. Then the SME still not improve better. And what we need that we have to improve the technology production, especially with the we fulfill the standard of the big industry and so on. So once again, I think government should interfere with give free training to the people who work in SME, so they can improve the capability to produce good, let's say, components or spare part of the big industry. Let's see, like China, most of the SME is like we can call it household industry, but they have a very good quality. So I think this is because the governments interfere and facilitate the improvement of the capability of the those people who work in SME. So I think we have to to establish more training center that provide the free training for the people who want to be more. So they have a dream, not always work as the let's say the labor in the industry, but they also would like to be let's say engineer or professional in their field and so on. So currently, I think the Persatuan Insinyur Indonesia (PII) also already started to make certification for all of the provisions in many fields, like in construction field, in probably also in manufacturing field, and so on. So based on that, then the people who have certification, they can get more higher income, and they can get more higher skill, to be better work in the industry. I think that that one I said.
Thank you so much, Pak Teguh. I think that note closed the session very nicely. That capacity building within the knowledge economy requires cross levels. So high-skilled employees, high-skilled researchers, part of the soft infrastructure of research and technology is also linked or has connections with small and medium enterprises. Pak Dery, we are out of time, and
Okay.
very sorry, but you can most welcomely address your question in the chat box.
Okay.
I would like to ask you, and or if the committee allows Pak Dery to ask a question.
Just a quick word, may I?
Yes, please do. Yes.
Because I like to share a story from my friend. They get training from Lund University in Finland in the Technopark, and they said that in that Technopark they have special unit with people with good soft skills to facilitate actors within the area to work together on specific issues. Perhaps this can be also replicated here in Indonesia at small scale, but it requires commitment from the relevant actors. I think just share the information. Thank you.
Silakan Pak Teguh. Thank you, Pak Dery.
Yeah, I think this is very important. And also, I would like to add a little bit information that, ITRI in Taiwan, they become like intermediate institution. So all of the SME, all of the industry that need, they have a problem and need solution, they can come to that institution, ITRI, for free. So they can discuss and provide alternative solution, and it's very help for the SME and also for the other industry. So we need that kind of intermediate institution exists in Indonesia. Sometimes if we come to the institution, and especially this is the government owned, sometimes they are talking also about the commercial side and so on. So sometimes it's very difficult for them, especially SME, to get the solution for free. So, and Pak Dery, of course, the sample of the science and technology part unit, special unit in Norwegia, is very good also, to be considered to be exist in our science and technology part. That's that. Thank you very much for the feedback.
Thank you very much, Pak Teguh. Thank you again, Pak Dery. And thank you also for the committee for allowing extra time. I'd like to return the floor to Jamie, also thanking the audience and Pak Teguh for their kind time and attention for this discussion. Jamie, I'm returning the floor to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Inaya. Thank you once again to Pak Teguh. We are really fortunate to be able to hear you speak today. Our deepest gratitude, of course, goes to Dr. Inaya for being our moderator, wonderful moderator, to ALMI, to DIPI, IP, as well as the INGSA Asia Regional Chapter. Before I end, I would like to seek the cooperation of all of our participants here today to kindly just fill in this feedback form, which is in the chat box, to help us improve for our future events. So thank you once again for joining us today and helping making this event a success. And we hope to see you in the future CSUN lectures. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a good day.
Thank you.